Langford. Hello!
Hello!
How are
you?
you?
Darling. How are you, darling?
I am good. It is so good to see your face.
And yours. It's just weird. I have never done this before. I have never done any kind of Instagram anything. Well, I only joined Instagram about... When did I join Instagram? About 2 months
November.
ago, if that. Was it November?
November, yes.
God.
I love it.
Joined it then. I still have no idea how any of it works, as you know. And
Well,
but I'm here.
You're going to love it. You're going to get addicted to Instagram Live. And it's such a lovely way for everyone to get to know you. And they're going to leave some lovely messages here. And if anybody wants to say a comment, I'm going to mention them here. So, yeah, it's just a lovely way to say hi. And you have a little introduction. So here we go. The overture to Me and My Girl, one of the many shows that Bonnie has starred in, and the one where we met and worked together. No one has packed such a wealth of experience into one career with success in theatre, TV, film, and radio in England and America, like my fabulous guest today. A child star in the 70s by winning opportunity knocks at 6 years old, this started her skyrocketing career with her West End debut at age 7 and Broadway debut right after that, garnering her a Drama Desk nomination for playing Baby June in Gypsy opposite Angela Lansbury. How do you top that? Well, you star in TV shows like Just William, you play Doctor Who's assistant, and you star in every West End musical that there ever was, from the original production of Cats to Me and My Girl, Sweet Charity, Spam-A-Lot, and most recently, Dorothy Brock in 42nd Street, and not forgetting the fabulous Lena and Bonnie show. Top this off with joining the most popular soap EastEnders and winning a Best Newcomer at the Soap Awards and a BAFTA, and you have one heck of a career. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the legendary Bonnie Langford.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm cheersing you with a cup of tea.
Oh,
very British.
Me
and
too.
I'm holding my mug, my show must go on mug.
I love that.
Supporting them because they, you know, it's two guys created this logo, which is all different letters from the shows that were on, the musicals that were on in the West End when we closed a year ago. And the money that they raised, they've got all sorts of merchandise, and the money they raise goes to these different charities, which is Acting for Others, Fleabag Support Fund, NHS COVID-19, and the Theatre Support Fund. I said that, didn't I? Fleabag Support Fund. And they've raised, these two guys, Chris and Damien, who've created this, they've raised over £600,000.
My goodness me.
Yeah. So, you know.
That's incredible.
You know, and there's two freelancers, prop and set makers, and they just came up with this. And, you know, it's just a fantastic industry.
I love it. I need to get myself one of those mugs. I did a New York mug for you today. There we go.
Lovely.
Yes. For Showbiz. I was trying to find my Showbiz mugs and I couldn't find one. That's the only one I could find. But I love that mug. Do they do t-shirts as well?
Everything. T-shirts, masks. They've even brought out children's t-shirts now. The tote bags, hoodies.
Hoodies, yes. Yvonne here says she's got a hoodie.
Yeah.
I'm going to order myself one of those. Bonnie, it's so lovely to have you on the show. And I know you do a lot for charity as well, and we'll come back to that. But I just want to have a fangirl moment here and just say how you inspired so many little girls, myself included, growing up, watching you on TV, watching you in the Lena and Bonnie show and Just William. You were in my favorite kids movie, Bugsy Malone.
Yeah.
I mean, who gets to star in the West End and Broadway when they're like 7, 8, 9 and a Drama Desk nomination? Do you remember what that felt like at that time when you were a kid? And at what age did you realize that you had this talent?
I don't. I mean, I don't. I just like it. I think, you know, when you're in a happy place and a nice place, it's interesting, actually. I was talking to somebody about it the other day. I didn't actually know I got a Drama Desk nomination until about 10 years ago.
Really?
No. My American agent found out and went, did you know that you were that? I went, no. They didn't tell me. Because also I was obviously in America. I came back to England as soon as I finished that show. Nobody told me, and I didn't go to the ceremony because I was in England and that kind of thing. And I had a very ordinary upbringing. A very ordinary background and a very ordinary upbringing in a kind of extraordinary way. I had these amazing things happening, but underneath it all, my life was exactly the same. Which sounds bizarre, doesn't it? But it was treated
detriment to your family. They
yeah,
wanted to keep you grounded.
Yes. But I mean, I feel very blessed in the fact that I never had to do what a lot of people do, which is at certain points in their lives say, right, what am I going to do as a career? It was something, it never even occurred to me I would ever do anything different until maybe
Have you ever?
This year, until this year, when I was told we weren't viable and I needed to get a proper job.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was horrific.
Yes. But anyway, and I did kind of go, what?
How dare you?
But whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a line in Gypsy where one of the characters says to Mama Rose, you should get a job, dear. And she says, I have a job, dear. My daughters are my job, and I do it darn well. And you go, yes. You know, but yeah. So too long in the tooth to do anything else now. But I think what is really important, and to say I'm blessed that I didn't have to think about getting another job. I think what I get to do and what we get to do in our world is we get to kind of play make believe of proper jobs and normal jobs without having to do the boring bits. Yeah. So we have to stay connected with the real world. It's absolutely vital as an actor to stay connected with the real world, because that's who you are representing when you play those roles. You have to be honest and truthful, and you have to kind of connect with that. Otherwise, it doesn't
it's
really,
fake.
It doesn't,
yeah,
it's fake.
Yeah.
So it's quite a tricky path to tread sometimes, because you have to remain in the real world, even though you're in this kind of weird world sometimes that you have to turn it on when you're told to. Yeah. But, you know, yes, as you say, it's testament to my family that I was very grounded, probably too grounded. It was all a bit, oh, don't talk about it, you'll be big-headed. Very good.
Wow. But did you, like, when you were running around, you know, 3, 4, 5, were you singing and dancing? And did you have, because like you won Opportunity Knocks at 6 years old. I mean, where does that confidence come from?
Well, it doesn't, but the confidence came from the fact that I was in an environment I felt comfortable. I would never sing and dance at home for the aunties or no, never. Really? I hated that. It was embarrassing. It was awful. I couldn't bear it. In fact, I find it uncomfortable being in my home now doing anything. You know, you think, no, this isn't where I work. This is my home. You know, it's weird.
Yeah.
My mum had a dancing school.
Yeah.
So I would get up and do, you know, the classes and join in. I also think I find this whole environment, you know, theatre particularly so comfortable, because my sisters, who are older than me, were in the shows that, you know, they went to my mum's dancing school. And when I was very little, my eldest sister was at the Royal Ballet School and my middle sister was at Arts Ed as the theatre school. And so training was very much a part of it. It was about training for a craft. It was sort of an apprenticeship almost, but not particularly going on stage, apart from sort of amateur things and you know, the Operatic Society and my mum's show, which she did once a year at Richmond Theatre. And I kind of credit my mum, but my sisters, because my sisters held my hands. So it was as if I was in my happy place. I just was, you know, like a baby, walked on and pointed my toe, and it felt like a nice place to be, and that was it. So I think my introduction to theatre was always a safe place. It was always somewhere comfortable. It was a home. It was somewhere. But then, you know, I would never do it at home. It had to be in the right environment. And then, of course, I don't know, I just was really in the right place at the right time and worked with some extraordinary people. I mean, when you think so when I was 7, I did Gone with the Wind in the West End, in not only the most iconic theatre, but with this huge production directed by Joe Layton. You know, it also wasn't lovey-dovey kind of childlike. I feel very blessed that I was the kind of kid that was not talked to as if I was stupid. It's not patronized ever. It was, you know, it was an adult environment, and that's where I felt comfortable. And my age was never to be an excuse.
Right. And
if anything, I probably had more pressure on myself, because I didn't want people to go, oh, she's very good considering she's only a little girl. And so, and when I was in Gypsy, it was directed by Arthur Lawrence. Julie Stein, Julie Stein, Stephen Sondheim were all there. It was, Angela Lansbury.
Yes, I mean, Angela Lansbury, right there.
Yeah, to work with those giants was the biggest lesson and the most invaluable and blessed lesson I could ever have had to how to behave on stage and off. And I think it set an absolute template for me. That's just what I knew. That's
to have someone like, I mean, you started at the top. I mean, and you just continue to grow and grow and grow. But you sound like you really took it in and you really were aware of what was happening to you at that time. A lot of kids wouldn't have got it. But it sounds like you, it
was expected of us. So we rose to that challenge. I remember one time, I don't know why this is coming to my head suddenly.
I love it.
You think of things. I remember one time, I mean, Angela Lansbury, she's just a remarkable lady, but she went through times when she was struggling a lot. There was one time I remember we were recording the album in London, and she had a bad throat, and she was swallowing honey and lemon and trying to take it in between because we were having to record the album when we were still, I think on a Sunday. But then I remember being in New York and I got a bad throat and I was sent to a throat specialist, and he said to me, get a notepad, don't speak unless you're paid to, and don't whisper even, because that's worse for your throat. And Angela bought me a notepad.
Wow.
And I wrote everything down, and I went off. She didn't go off, so I didn't go off.
See, now you learned that at a very young age, the professionalism. You don't go off. You stay on. Yeah. What a great woman to have learned from. Did you have any tricks? Did she teach you anything for your throats? Was it just honey and lemon, or?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, Angela wasn't that type of person. She isn't. I shouldn't speak to her in the past tense. She's the most incredible woman still.
Yes.
Inspirational.
Yes.
She was not a teacher except by example, which I think is the best teacher of all, because those people who teach you the most are the ones who you don't realize are teaching you. Yeah.
And it's up to you to realize it.
Yeah. And it's like, I think those leaders are the leaders that are the best ones are the ones you think aren't doing anything at all.
Yes, those are the best, the strongest leaders. Yeah.
When you have a director, people turn around and go, well, he didn't do anything. And you think, oh, then he did everything.
Yeah, you just don't know what I did and how I did it. Yeah.
Well, they lead you to the place that they want you to grow and find it within you, and that's when it's clever. So
like Mike Ockran.
Yes, gorgeous Mike.
The lovely Mike Ockran. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I was researching you, which I didn't realize, when you did Bugsy Malone, that was Alan Parker's directorial debut.
There you go. Yes, I mean, what he'd done before as well, he'd done a lot of commercials. He was very famous in the commercials of advertising world. And actually, he did a commercial with Patsy Kensit where she had to do garden peas, isn't it? Something about...
Yes, I remember that.
That was him. That was Alan.
That was huge.
So he'd worked a lot with kids. And, I mean, it's like Ridley Scott. He also started in commercials as well. But and they were sort of epic. But yes, it was Alan's first film. And it's funny because I used to see him. I'm so sad we lost him, but it was funny how we did a lot of sort of, I think they released it on Blu-ray and it was some kind of anniversary. God, it can't be the 50th. Please don't say it's the 50th. That makes me feel ancient. It is.
God. Can't be. It's just a number. It's just a number, Bonnie.
But I don't think it was actually. But there was some anniversary we all got together a couple of years ago now. And and there was, it's generally me and Alan and Dexter Fletcher. And of course, Dexter's gone on to direct. Well, Rocket Man was recently, and Bohemian Rhapsody, and all those, amazing stuff. And he was babyface.
Yeah.
But I think he had a great impact on Dex as far as directing is concerned as well, and helped him a lot. And it was one of those movies that I don't know. I think he was very straight with us all. It was fun. It wasn't, but it wasn't mucking around. It wasn't playtime. It was something serious, and we all loved doing it. He wanted us, he expected this from us, and we were expecting. We weren't playing kids. We were playing humans.
Adults. Yeah.
Well, kind of ageless, but within an adult environment. But there was never any reference to being kids. Never.
No, that's so true.
In that respect, Bugsy Malone, I felt, was so clever, because yes, it was all done in sort of childlike fashion. You got splurged with, shaving foam or whatever.
That was such a fun scene.
Verge guns instead of being taken out as such. But it actually, what it did was it reflected the fact that kind of the gangland